Hello, this is Paul. I am speaking to folks on this training page. Uh, we're facing a tough time. Uh, the coronavirus, COVID 19, is upon us. America's people being diagnosed every day is getting to be a higher and higher number. And so many of us are probably going to be facing the, uh, the mandatory staying in our house. And I just want to make sure every one of you recognizes the need to stay safe. If you say, well, I'm perfectly healthy, I don't need to worry about it, well, you need to worry about the other guy too. You don't want to be passing it around to somebody who maybe isn't as healthy as you. And as you're going about, most of you who know me know I'm an advocate of being prepared. Uh, but I think this caught most of us off guard. Certainly, if you go into Walmart or most grocery stores, you'll see that most of the world was, or most of the United States was caught off guard as they stripped the toilet paper aisles bare, which seems a strange place to start to me, but that's neither here nor there. My point with the bringing up this video is this: that we need to be calm. We need to not worry about some details we can't do anything about. Don't panic. Don't get so obsessed with the statistics and the news and all that stuff. Do the very best you can to protect yourself and to protect others around you. And when asked to stay away from other people, that would be a good, wise idea to do. Uh, for ever since society ever started, ever since the first cities, when sickness went about, they told people to stay away from the sick people. It makes total sense. You can go back to the book of Leviticus in the Bible, the book of Deuteronomy, and you'll see these commands to stay away from the sick people, and that's kind of what the government's telling us to do today. And it's a wise thing to do. But as we go about, you do need to be aware and alert of what's going on around you. For those of you who have studied and received maybe from me or somebody else Cooper's color codes, and if you haven't got that, look it up on the internet. You'll find it. He talks about living our lives with different levels of awareness. Most people live their lives in the awareness level of white, which means basically you're unaware of what's going on around you. And of course, everyone has to go to white sometimes. You certainly don't sleep with all kinds of awareness around you, but white's not a good place to be when there's things going on. And then the next level up is yellow. In other words, you're just generally aware of what's going on around you. You're not surprised by anything. And I think in this environment we live in right now, we should be in awareness level. And now I'm talking more of a societal awareness more, rather than personal, as Colonel Cooper said to be in yellow. I think we need to be aware of what's going on in the world around us. We need to be seeing things that most people may not notice. And if this virus gets worse, if the or if the pandemic gets worse, and if the number of sick goes up drastically, so far it's very controllable, but if it goes up drastically, make sure that you're taking a few minutes to get ready for maybe some disruptions that most people don't think will happen, and I agree with them. It probably won't happen, but it could happen. In other words, like loss of electricity or water. So as time goes on, and if you see these things getting worse than we expect, make sure you set aside some water. And I'm not saying run down to Walmart and buy out all their gallon jugs. I'm saying find every container you can find around the house and fill it up. Make sure you have water set aside. And that would include even things like filling the tub. The tub water, although you may not want to drink it, could be used for flushing the toilets. Now, even that may be problematic as time goes on if you're in city sewers, and that they may not, if the water's not running, they may not be running either. But that's something to just be aware of. The other thing is electricity. You know, if it goes out, you may want to have some preparedness. And just think of it like a hurricane. Some things you would have set aside in that manner. The only difference between this, well, not the only difference, but one of the differences between this and a hurricane is you can't run away from this. It's all over the United States. There's cases all over. They won't get better elsewhere, is what I'm saying, necessarily. But that being said, just keep an eye out. I will try to every 2 or 3 days to have another little video where I give you some information perhaps you hadn't noticed. Right now, I expect this thing to go on for a while. I expect the numbers to continue to go up. Part of the reason why they're going up is because more and more people are being tested, and they already had it, but we weren't counting them because we hadn't tested them. So we'll see as the testing goes on. I think we'll see the numbers continue to go up, along with it spreading a bit. As it is, we're doing okay. Thankfully, we cut off people coming into this country from China and Europe pretty quickly. We did a pretty good job. I think President Trump, I'm thankful, he noticed that. He was actually kind of wasn't paying attention to it much, and then suddenly it hit him. And it was probably about the right time. I think we're pretty good, but we'll have to wait and see. I'm just saying, pay attention. Going back to Cooper's color codes, you know, we're in condition yellow. We should be noticing things. Now, if you see something that seems out of place for this, I know everything seems out of place, but I'm saying something particularly draws your attention. Remembering Cooper's color codes, we need to go to level orange. And I'm talking about more of a societal thing. And that would be where you might say, hear about maybe a city that lost electricity or lost water. Then you want to make sure that you're definitely prepared then. And of course, red would be where things have totally broken down. I don't think we're going to get to that point, but be on the alert just in case. Now, if you're on this particular page, you've studied with me for the most part. Most of you've studied with me at least in some form or another in the field of self-defense and marksmanship. So you know how to handle that, but be aware it may be necessary. I don't expect it to be, but you just got to be alert. Be ready for whatever may come our way. Right now, I think most people are taking this with the appropriate amount of seriousness. Not everyone is, but most people are. And that's very, very important. If you're told to stay at home or whatever, stay at home. If you have a fever, stay at home. 80% of the people that catch this coronavirus are able to go through it without much of a problem. And that's great. And I'm praying that if any of us catch it, that we are able to work right through it with no problems. Those with pre-existing conditions, as you've heard, may have some issues. But right now, it's looking pretty good, I suppose. If you got to live through a pandemic, this one I'm not seeing. Even in Italy, where things have been terrible for the last few weeks, the electricity's still on and the water's still going. And I don't see that we're going to be any different. I don't think we're going to get as bad as Italy. I'm just saying now is the time to be ready, be alert. And if you're staying home from work because your job has, your place of business is closed down or for some other reason, don't waste all your day binge watching things. It's a good opportunity to, um, you can dry fire your pistol or your rifle. You can maybe clean it. My guns are about as spotless as you'll ever see them now because I've had a couple days to clean them. You can catch up on what's going on in the world. Don't waste all day staring at the television news and getting depressed, but be aware of what's going on around the world and around the United States and your own area. Um, so, that being said, I'm just here to encourage you. Make sure that you stay alert, stay aware of what's going on around you, and prepared as you can be in this situation. Also, I want to tell you, I do have another page for my church. If you're not on that page and you're on this one and you want to be, just write a note below this video. Or you can private message me either way, and I'll add you to that page. And I have other things more of a spiritual nature over there. All right. Thank you for listening, and take care.